Greetings, my friends. Reformed Stoic here. Wrinkles here. So now I just want to riff a little bit about the power of positivity. It's so simple. Reformed Stoic, I thought we were philosophers. I thought we were intellectuals. I thought we were theologians. Oh, we are. Have you ever seen the bell curve meme? Unfortunately, you got to hang out in kind of like negative places to maybe see that meme. I think it's on Reddit too, though. It's got the IQ bell curve, and the joke is that, you know, the people with 80 IQ say something, and then the midwits say something else, and then the people with super high IQ end up saying the same thing as the low IQ people. So I envision it where the low IQ people, it's all about positivity. And then the midwits are like, the world is such an ugly place and anybody who's smart can see that. And if you're smart, how could you ever be positive? And then you got the super high IQ people saying the same exact things as the low IQ people. The power of positivity. The world is such a positive place. I don't know. I screwed it up, but you get the point. And it's not just about like how smart you are. It's about where you are in your journey. I think we start off positive, and then if you have some inner depth, you realize at some point, wow, the world is kind of an ugly place, and things haven't gone the way that I planned. Let's get some more light in here, baby. Let's just flood with light. It's pretty much the same as it was, but whatever. Things haven't really gone the way I planned. A lot of ugly things have happened. A lot of bad things have happened to good people. A lot of good things have happened to not so good people. And then you deepen and expand and deepen and expand. And then I think, guys, eventually you're supposed to circle back around to the power of positivity. It's so important to be positive. It's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, and I've already made the video, Fruits of the Spirit versus the New Age. I made that video where I did my homework, where I explained to you how this is biblical, so I can make this video. So I'm going to make sure I link that video in the description so you can see how it's biblical to have a positive attitude, to not be anxious. We've already gone over that. So now I just want to riff on why it's so important to be positive. First of all, here's why you're not a genius for being negative, okay? Have things gotten worse? Arguably, things were already bad, you guys, okay? You were looking at the world with rose-colored, rose-tinted lenses when you were young. It's like, oh man, I used to watch Hey Arnold and you know, Nickelodeon and Football Head, Hey Arnold and Doug. Life was just so much better when I was a kid and I watched cartoons all the time. Well, guess what? A lot of adults, when I was a kid, when we were kids, they were dealing with like, there was like the LA riots, and there was already all kinds of crazy things going on. My aunt was telling me about dealing with like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and the Black Panthers, and there was drama, man. There was people, adults, saying, what the hell is going on in the world? Where are things going? Y2K, a lot of people were flipping out about Y2K, year 2000. Imagine being an adult during 9/11. Where the hell is everything going? There was a lot of adults who were already, you know, thinking they're super smart and being super negative. There's always something to be negative about. Yeah, but now there's Tinder, and now there's people aren't dating, and oh yeah, no, hey, things are getting worse. And there's a really good chance that things are just going to keep getting worse. But arguably things have always been bad. And you won't get that perspective to realize how good you had things until things get worse. And then you'll be like, oh man, I should have been happy back then. I should have been happy back then. Time moves. I wish I was happy then. I wish I was happy then. I wish I was happy then. You just gotta be happy, guys, okay? You're screwing it up. You're not a genius because you're negative. You're not smarter than everybody's like, oh, that guy's happy because he's stupid. They're positive because they're stupid. How could you possibly be positive? Well, God tells you that you should be positive. Like, you have to be positive, man. You gotta stop worrying. You gotta trust in God. You gotta trust in God's plan. And when you're doing it wrong, it always comes down to negativity. Yeah, you can break it down. You can get to the details. And, it's going to take some explaining. You're going to have to break down some concepts and some jargon. But we've already been there. All right? We've already been there on this channel. There's more to learn. There's more that I'm going to go over than just positivity. But for right here, for right now, maybe it's more obvious on the far right, where you guys, racism is real, and blaming your problems on, like certain racial demographic things. I do feel a certain kind of way about multiculturalism. Ultimately, we all have biases. People always kind of have an incentive to stick to their own, but it's not really, like, who's to blame for the multicultural way that the world is now? I think back to like Abraham Lincoln wanting to send the slaves home. When it was time to set the slaves free, Abraham Lincoln was saying, hey, let's send them home. Like, we took them from their home, let's send them back. And he got killed. Now, I can only speculate, but I feel like the powers that be wanted this multicultural society because, and this isn't racist saying this, I feel like everybody should realize this is a means of control, okay? If it's white versus black, if it's man versus woman, if it's Muslim versus Christian, people at the top who on some level don't give a shit about any of that, they can pit us against each other. And you probably heard people saying stuff like this is like, oh, well, now you've regressed to let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, Reformed Stoic. I thought you were a super smart intellectual and you realized this sort of like racist truth. No, we're supposed to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Like, that's the reality. That's the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is, I don't know what you think you're going to do, bro. I'm so smart. I'm going to join a militia. I'm going to start this uprising. Well, I'll tell you what kind of uprising you can start, baby. You can start it with love. Real love. Not some hippy-dippy, let's all take acid and have an orgy at Woodstock. No, man. No drugs. No alcohol. No fornication. Real love. God's love. Biblical love. The acceptance through Jesus Christ. The kind of unconditional love where it's like, hey, brother, Antifa is going to come get in my face and, say a bunch of things that ultimately don't hurt me. Well, I'm going to turn the other cheek. Some Black Lives Matter is going to get in my face and, like, give me shit for having white privilege. Well, I'm going to be slow to anger. I'm going to be understanding. I'm going to be kind. All right? It's like, hey, I know slavery was wrong. I did have some privileges being white. Okay, I can accept white privilege. That's a complicated subject. I'm not a leftist. I'm not a Democrat. I'm also not a Republican. I'm not Antifa. I'm not Proud Boys. Proud Boys are negative. Antifa's negative. Black Lives Matter is negative. You see, if you don't know Antifa and Black Lives Matter, your thing is that you perceive some people as your enemy. And I'm not going to get into who that is, but you perceive people as your enemy, just like the Proud Boys perceive people as their enemy. And we do have enemies on this planet. You have to align yourself with God. You have to align yourself with truth, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is truth. You align yourself with that, and then it's like, okay, now that I'm aligned with God, now that I'm aligned with the Most High, I'm rocking with something. I'm affiliated with something. So who is my enemy? Your enemy is the most low. Your enemy is the fallen one. Your enemy is the adversary, Satan. And those who follow Satan, and anybody who ain't with Christ, you may not know it, but if you're not affiliated with the Most High, then you're up for grabs for the most low. You're up for grabs for the fallen one. And his weapon is lies, and that's what he uses to get you to hate. Okay, Satan is behind the lies. So it's like, well, who's a useful idiot and who's with the real shit? The real shit, the people who like are likely Satanists and occultists and people who like on some level know what they're doing, they're lying to you. The news, people on the news with their little Operation Mockingbird intelligence apparatus, they know that they're lying to you because Satan's weapon is the lie. Now you who hear the lies from the system, from the compromised education where they got intelligence assets up in the universities, check out the PRISP program. I read a book, Weaponizing Anthropology, talks all about intelligence affiliation with universities, and then you got intelligence affiliation with the news. They are using the weapon of Satan. They are high up. They are establishment, and their weapon is the lie. And you who have been lied to, you are a lackey, whether you know it or not, and what you are using is hate. You were lied to by higher-ups, and that led you to the alt-right and the Proud Boys, and now you, as a result, hate. You were lied to by the higher-ups in education, and now you're in Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and they have taught you to hate. The liars of Satan up here who, hey, some of those people are Satanists who believe in God, and they chose Satan. Okay, that's the real enemy. It's like, yeah, oh, I know that God created people in his image, and I choose Satan. That is the enemy. And they lie. And you, who might just not know any better, who very likely, who doesn't know any better, you have been lied to, and as a result of that, you hate. Believing in lies will cause you to hate. I believe that this is enlightenment. This is the real enlightenment. Ultimately, Christianity, you want to be careful telling people that you're enlightened. That's kind of some new age occult. But if there is a real enlightenment, it's when you can truly break down the world to positive and negative, good and evil, love and hate. Hate is a mistake, my friends. Anything that leads you towards hate is a mistake. And if you're looking for the snakes who are trying to deceive you and manipulate you and groom you, it's when they're trying to micromanage the amount of hate in your life. It's like, okay, you're right to not hate these people, but you know, keep hating these people. And, well, you're right to not be negative about this, but you still got to be negative about this. It's like, no, you guys, it's simple. The truth is very simple. You love your neighbor. And there's people out here trying to use theology to be like, oh, well, your neighbor is only people that you're in covenant with. Well, guess what? It also says to love your enemies. Now, how you gonna reason around that? So and so, who tries to use your theological knowledge to teach people to hate. Bible says to love your enemies. You can't get around that unless you hate Jesus Christ. Unless you're not following the teachings of Jesus Christ. You just gotta love everybody. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean if my family is under attack, I just have to get on my knees and say, okay, kill my family? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The way I reason it, guys, is you tend to take the Bible literally more often than not. Noah really built an ark. There was really an ark, and Noah and his family, unironically, sailed on that ark. And when you're seeing the similarities between all the pagan religions, well, it's because, and I don't want to get too deep into this right now, but all of the pagan mythos traces back to Noah and his family, okay? In Hinduism, the 7 rishis, that is Noah's 7 family members. The Ogdode, led by Nu. The Ogdode is a group of 8 that emerged from the primordial waters. It's Egyptian. Nu is Noah. Noah and his 7 family members. Brahma survived the flood in an egg. Egg is symbolic for the ark. This all comes from, George Stanley Faber, Origins of Pagan Idolatry. Check it out. It's interesting. They talk about in Mount Olympus how in the time of the Titans they lived for 1,000 years. Okay? Well, Noah lived to be about 966. And before the flood, people lived longer. And you could say that Mount Olympus is Mount Ararat, where the ark landed. So the gods came down from the mountains. Well, what the pagan religions did is they deified Noah and his family. And I'm trying to remember why I got into this, but it doesn't matter, my friends. Ultimately, what it was is that you take the Bible literally more often than not. So when the Bible says turn the other cheek, well, that's for somebody to slap you. A slap is annoying, but it doesn't injure you. Now, when somebody is trying to kill you, you are allowed to defend yourself, because turn the other cheek is for a slap. So that's that. Let's not get too far gone on that anymore. You guys, anytime somebody's being negative, they're making a mistake. And now, is it possible to be positive and to be wrong? That's probably what we should go over next. I'm really digging this channel, Mantius, Advancing. There's a channel called Advancing, and then there's a channel called Mantius. They're both the same guy. This guy's like Jamaican or Nigerian or something. He says that he's not religious. But it's interesting how he doesn't really say anything wrong necessarily on his channel. He has a very positive message. Now, he is wrong to not be Christian. Sometimes he talks about being one with God and being with the universe, being one with the universe. So he is wrong sometimes. I detract what I just said. He is wrong sometimes. There are very positive people who are wrong. So, like I said with the bell curve meme, you start out happy when you're young, and then if you're meant to go on this spiritual journey toward the truth in Jesus Christ, you're probably going to be very negative for a long time. And I believe that a lot of people on this channel have been going through that experience. If you are deep in your journey, and part of being deep in that journey is that you have learned the correct faith, you have learned the correct theology, so you're all good. You're not like this new age guy who's talking about being one with the universe. We've already gone over that in the video I'm going to link in the description. It's time for the next part of your journey, my friends, where you ultimately leave behind politics. It's a waste of time. I'm a monarchist, so you're allowed to know about politics, and you can read books about politics. For me, it's pretty simple. Jesus is king. I believe that the millennium already happened. It was from about 500 AD to 1500 AD, fall of the Roman Empire to the Renaissance and the Protestant Reformation. Christ was ruling on his throne in heaven when the Catholic Church was unbroken. And then, there was the schism, but ultimately when it was just orthodoxy in the Catholic Church, Christ was ruling. And the beast has been set free from the pit. But the best system, and it's still a flawed system because people are flawed, but the greatest system is when you have a monarch, and the monarch is a God-fearing, Bible-believing man, and it's a great man who is in charge. Because democracy is deceptive, but we're not going to get into that because I'm talking about politics is just, it's a waste of time. Look, I don't think being smart and educated is a waste of time. So by all means, read all kinds of books, bro. Learn about, economics and politics, monarchy, even the stuff that's like, if it's bad, learn about the Nazis, learn about fascism. I read Mussolini's autobiography, learn about communism. I still need to read Marx. I listened to the Communist Manifesto a long time ago in an audiobook, but I still need to read like Das Kapital, and it never hurts to know things, okay? It never hurts to learn. But when politics is a waste of time is when it comes down to the two-party system in the United States. When it comes down to voting, okay? This is something that I feel like the Jehovah's Witnesses got right, okay? Not trying to be rude. Broken clock is right twice a day. They just don't have anything to do with politics. The government doesn't like them for that. That's one thing that the government doesn't like about Jehovah's Witnesses, is they simply cannot be bothered with American politics. They believe that God wants you to just disregard it. And I believe that as well, my friends. It's about division. It's about control. It's South Park got it right. Turd sandwich versus giant douche. And it takes a while to unravel it. It takes a while to unravel it. You're going to pick your party because, yeah, me overall, I'm still going to be Republican, conservative, more or less. I don't agree with abortion, but I also don't agree with capitalism. And I also don't really support our military, and I don't agree with the CIA. It's funny when you're looking for people who are woke on like 9/11, people who speak out against the CIA, a lot of leftists. Let me name drop something. The Young Turks. Oh, the Young Turks is absolutely ridiculous. They're so cucked. You go look up the Young Turks talking about trapwire that was invented by Abraxas. There's an old video where the Young Turks are going over trapwire, which was like this horrible totalitarian program that's meant to stop terrorism before it happens. Some straight up Minority Report crap. Oh yeah, they were speaking out a lot about that. And then you got the right trying to say, oh, it's absolutely ridiculous to say 9/11 was an inside job. It's absolutely ridiculous to say there's anything wrong with the CIA. Absolutely preposterous to say that, the war on terror, there's anything wrong with that. The right-wing media was really putting their neck out for Skull and Bones George Bush and his actions overseas, a lot of which is responsible for our deficit. Well, then other people will point out that, no, really, it was Obama and his programs that are responsible for our deficit. And if you keep bouncing around back and forth, it's going to be like that meme, I guess I should have voted Democrat. Oh, next time I'll vote Republican. Now I know that meme, ultimately, I'm not going to go too deep into that meme because it's just going to get me in trouble. And then that is also a deflection. It's like, oh yeah, the two-party system is a sham, but who's behind it? Who's behind the two-party system? And that's also manipulation. And that's also, you guys, the enemy is the devil. And there are systems in the establishment that are in line with demonic interests. And when you're trying to point your finger at a race or a particular group of people, all I can say right here, right now, is it's not a race. Okay? It is an establishment. It is pieces of the establishment. And guess what? Are there any white people who work for that establishment? Yep. Are there any black people who work for it? Yep. Any Muslims, Christians? Everybody. Everybody can work for that establishment. And then it's like, well, scientifically, statistically, this is how many people, and now we're talking science and statistics. Well, You know about how if you do the same study over and over and over again, you can get different results every time. And what was the sample size? And well, maybe last year it was mainly Catholics, but maybe now it's mainly this group of people. And look, you think that I'm trying to sell out. You think that I'm trying to cop out, or you don't have the balls to say the truth. This is the truth, guys. You are the one who has fallen for a lie, who has given in to hate. And the Bible tells you not to hate anybody. And you think it's like, well, it's so frustrating because if only we hated people, we could get something done. But you've hated people your entire life. And what has it accomplished? Why haven't you figured it out? Okay, you're all filled with hate. I'm waiting. Are you going to fix everything? Oh, well, everybody needs to hate it. Well, that's what they want. That's what the news wants, is for everybody to hate everybody. And I can tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be war. Because it's not new. There's going to be war, and people are going to die. And man, it's just never really the right people, is it? All right, Wrinkles. It's just never really the right people. That predatory system, once the bullets are flying, once the bombs are dropping, that predatory system, whoop, they just elevate themselves out of the chaos, and then they wait for the smoke to clear, and then they lower back down into the wreckage, and then everything builds back even worse than it was before. And that's the story of all the world wars, you guys. If we're talking predictive programming, I can't recommend, I think it's Pixar, Ants, ANTZ. You seen that movie? With the CGI ants in the 90s? They go to those wars. They're all sent off to fight those big giant bugs that shoot acid, and it's just devastating, and they can't beat them, and it's unwinnable. And it's revealed throughout the movie, you're sent off to those wars for Depop. Depop. The whole point of those wars is for you to die. And then at the end of the movie, the military elite is trying to drown the colony. To live for the colony. To die for the colony. For the good of the colony. That's a very good example of revelation of method or predictive programming or whatever. That's the real deal, guys. Anyway, we're not trying to be super woke here. We've kind of touched over a couple of, like, you know, a little bit of what I'm about. But what I'm really about, guys, you don't have to be a philosopher. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have high IQ. You just got to be good to people, man. You just got to be good to people. If you're hating, you've been lied to. You believed lies. You've been misled. But there's all kinds of, like, people on YouTube who barely know anything who are saying that, yeah, and some of them are great people, man. And y'all know me, I've done a lot of reading, a lot of research. A lot of you have done a lot of reading, a lot of research. And I can just tell you that this is the way, people. This is going into the light. This is the direction it's all headed. I'm just trying to speed up the process. Don't you kind of feel like you're going through some sort of a process? Your body's changing. Alchemical? Is it alchemical? Ooh, that's dangerous territory, right? No, friends, as long as it's all through Jesus Christ, as long as it's all through faith, and as long as your theology is in check, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the light. Don't be afraid of the changes, because you will change, and you will start to have, it will start to become exponential. The light comes in a little bit, and then the light just starts to flood in. Oh, man, I want to be good to people. I want to pet my dog. I want to call my grandma before she dies. I want to take my grandma to lunch. I want to apologize to people. I want to forgive people. I want it to be water under the bridge. I want to have a day where, you know, I just, like, watch cartoons and Seinfeld, and you start to really appreciate things that are positive, things that can make you laugh, things that can make you laugh without drugs and alcohol and fornication, things that can be innocent. Start to become childlike, because you have to have the mind of a child to get into heaven. Innocent people. You know, a lot of innocent people, maybe they're not super smart, guys. There's a lot of people out there who you could learn from who ain't super genius intellectuals. And hey, guess what? There's some really smart people out there who everything's by the books. They're assholes. They're arrogant. They're making fun of people. They're being negative to people. They're trying to put people down. They're trying to make people feel small. And, you know, I'm not saying you can't learn from them. You can learn from them, but they ain't quite there yet. They just keep reading more and more and more books. They keep boasting themselves up more and more and more, but they just always fall short. And nobody makes it all the way. Nobody makes it all the way, but I can tell you who's the closest to making all the way. People who are just fun-loving, happy. Oh, I'm not into politics. Oh, I don't vote. Nah, hey, you know what? When Antifa and Proud Boys go to war, I just hope that nobody gets hurt. Well, yeah, I'm going to go and like, oh, hey, everybody, this guy's injured. This Proud Boy's injured. Oh, this Black Lives Matter person's injured. This Antifa person's injured. Hey, Antifa's trying to stomp out that Proud Boys guy. We got to stop him. Hey, the Proud Boys are trying to stamp out Antifa. We got to stop them, guys. It's just, you don't want to see people get hurt. Well, these people are wrong, and they should get hurt. That goes in a really ugly direction, guys. When you start standing behind totalitarian movements, it's like, well, they need to be eradicated at all costs. Now you're killing women and children, and now you're burning homes, and now horrible, evil things are happening. It's always evil. And the real problem never gets killed. I don't know. I don't know why it's that way. The Bible explains it. Satan is in charge. And when you're like, I'm a genius, I have 200 IQ, and I've got it all mapped out, and we're going to get the real bad guys. We're going to get the real establishment. It's just not going to work. Your movement's going to be co-opted, and I could sit here and explain to you point by point by point why it's not going to work. Yeah, part of the establishment is the CIA and the feds and DARPA and whatever, and they're going to co-opt your movement, and they're going to be like, hey, there's the real bad guy over there. Whoa, that's not the real bad guy. Hey, he's a traitor. Shut him up. And then you're going to be killed and bound and gagged, and they're going to co-opt your movement, and it's just not going to work. To the point where explaining it in great detail is just not going to be as good of a message. It's just not going to be as good of a video. I got to keep it simple, guys. Hate is the result of believing lies. The high up evil is lying to you. And the lackeys, you hate people. And the high up people hate people too. It's evil. It's wrong. All of the truth comes from following the Bible completely. You could really benefit from reading the Bible a lot more. I could really benefit from reading the Bible a lot more. Can't go wrong with Proverbs. Can't go wrong with Psalms. Can't go wrong with the Gospels. Can't go wrong with the New Testament. Can't go wrong with reading the entire Bible cover to cover. There's wisdom all throughout. But you can learn a lot from reading Proverbs, guys. A lot of really valuable stuff in Proverbs. A lot of really... Proverbs. I always screwed that up. Proverbs, sorry. Valuable wisdom in the Psalms. Valuable wisdom in the Gospels. I mean, hey, number one for me, guys, is the Gospels. What did Jesus Christ say? Now, when we talk about the inerrancy of Scripture, is the entire Bible the guaranteed Word of God? I'm pretty sure that it is. I'm pretty confident that it is. And people are like, whoa, I'm nervous. It's like, look, guys, I'm still studying, okay? I am 100% certain that the word of Jesus Christ is infallible. That I can tell you. 100%. So I'm not saying I have doubts about any of the other books. It's just that when you do what Jesus Christ said, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So when you find a guy who's like, oh, well, you know, I say something from the Gospels, it's like, oh, well, we got to go back to Exodus. Oh, we got to go back to Genesis. Oh, we got to go back to Isaiah. It's like this guy's trying to play games with you, okay? Jesus Christ said to love your enemies, okay? Love your enemies. Close the book. That's it. Oh, well, and Isaiah said, so actually you're not supposed to love your enemies. No, Jesus said to love your enemies. And anybody who's trying to like outsmart you and cite a bunch of, they're a heathen, they're a liar, they're a deceiver. Okay? Be slow to anger. Have the mind like a child. Oh, well, actually, Exodus and Genesis and Leviticus and... No. Jesus said to love your enemies. Jesus said not to worry. Jesus said to turn the other cheek. Be slow to anger. I think it's relevant to talk about gang stalking here, okay? Gang stalking is scary, guys. And I think when it gets the absolute worst is when you're just not there yet. You're not a Christian, or you don't have a deep faith, or you don't really understand, because you are under attack by real evil. And yeah, there's this crossing over where it's like, yeah, sure, it's Neighborhood Watch and the CIA and the Freemasons and, you know, maybe Jesuits and the Knights of Columbus. I'm kind of going back to the drawing board and some of these things about Catholics. Personally, I think where there's ultimate good, you have traitors, and ultimate evil. Look, I know that some Jesuits are just very intelligent apologists for the Catholic Church. But you always have traitors, man, because people are never infallible. So I know there's some Knights of Columbus out there who are doing good things. Who's like, man, Reformed Stoic, like, you say you're a Catholic, but you're talking all this shit about Jesuits and Knights of Columbus. Bro, I'm just trying to turn people to Christ. I'm just trying to bring people to the church. Like, you're attacking your own people, bro. Well, there's traitors everywhere, man. Nobody's infallible. So I'm gonna kind of like pull the dogs back because I'm rocking with Catholics now. So hey, some of these Jesuits are all right. Some of these Knights of Columbus are all right. But all I'm saying is, like, with gang stalking, yeah, it's all of these different groups. It's all of these like FBI informants and whatnot. But you guys, you hear a lot of people who are very wise. I've found some more channels of people talking about gang stalking, and they're talking about how, like, these people are, look at, this guy's possessed by a demon, like, they want to be close to you, and they don't know why, and they need something from you. There's truth to that. There's truth to some of this demonic stuff. I'm starting to realize, guys, like, yeah, there is a spiritual war going on, and, like, yeah, CIA, FBI, Neighborhood Watch, but these people are working for the devil, whether or not they know it. They've been lied to. That's the weapon of Satan. That's what the Bible says. And they hate as a result of it. Hate. Lies. Doesn't matter. Some of them are Satanists. Some of them are high-level Satanists. Some of them aren't. But they're all working for the devil. And that's biblical. And this is demonic stuff. And you guys, it's like, hey, they can make you lose your job. They can make you lose things. You might be a business owner. Some of these people are like, man, I used to own a business and I lost my business when I was gang stalked. How important, how far are you willing to go? Because you're a theologian, it's like, oh, I'm a theologian, but I have a podcast and a show and I got 100,000 subs and I can't lose my show. I'm so-and-so, I'm Jay Dyer, and I got 100,000 subs, and, well, I can't lose this. Well, then you're going to have to cut a deal with the Freemasons. Well, then you're going to have to cut a deal with the CIA. The people who are fully walking the walk, hey, I might lose my business. Oh, I lost my mansion, and now I got to live in an apartment. I used to be a part of this yacht club. Well, I can't go anymore because the gang stalkers took it away. I've been doing A-okay, man. They can't really do that much to me because I'm walking the path. Because I don't got that much to lose. Because I don't really value material things like that. And yeah, oh, you never had anything. No, I didn't. And now I understand why. And I might even have less someday. Listen, guys, some people are saying it gets to a point where you're going to be homeless and you have to go get a mental diagnosis so they can get you on psychotics because you're reliant on the system. Hey, I'll tell you what I'd do if I had to. I'd go live in a homeless shelter because I know they got homeless programs, and I know there's ways that you don't have to take those meds. I know there's ways that you're not reliant on the system. You go live in a homeless shelter. Maybe get your family to get you a plane ticket to somewhere that's always hot. Go be homeless in LA. There's a way, guys. Take showers at the library. Go be homeless. If you're really walking the path, Like, God forbid, I need my place because I got my cats. I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to lose my place. God's going to provide for me what I need. But, if you're walking this path and you don't got pets and stuff like that, and, some people are homeless with their dogs, and you can get dog food and you'll be all right. You might have to be homeless. You might have to shower at the library. You might have to stay in a homeless shelter. But when it really seems like it's impossible is when you need your stuff. You need your status. You need your big business. And, I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to lose my website. I'm going to lose my yacht club. Well, and look, you're going to get saved and you're fine, but people want to, have some status. Yeah, I want to be the big shot. I'm the best educator in the world. I'm the biggest, smartest theologian ever. Are you ready to be homeless? Are you ready to have nothing? Are you ready to be that guy on the sidewalk with his Bible saying the end is near and you need Jesus Christ? Look, some of those guys sound like they're nuts and they're not good at converting people. And, some of them aren't really that high level, but you could be the guy on the sidewalk with his Bible who's wise, who makes people think, who has flawless theology, who's really the best debater in the world, but people don't know it because you're not on YouTube. You're on the sidewalk converting homeless people. Things aren't the way they seem, my friends. It is my belief that when you really start climbing the ranks in this spiritual reality of the world, it's going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm starting to feel less like I want to be Mr. Ooh, I win all the debates and I get all the clout, and more like, hey, you know what? I need to be the kind of person who can talk to people and who isn't jumping down people's throats and who isn't coming off like I think I'm better than everybody. Because it's funny how so many different paths can lead you to sin in one way or another. It's a balancing act. It's like, okay, I've cut all of these other sins out of my life, but now I'm prideful. Ooh, that's the worst sin. Because all sin starts with pride. Okay, now I've cut out my pride, but it's because I'm drunk all the time. And now it's gluttony. It's a balancing act. And it might seem, it's like, I just don't get it, Reformed Stoic. How can I be making the world a better place if I love my enemies? He says if somebody steals from me, I give them more. It just doesn't make sense. Jesus was wrong. Leviticus, Genesis, Old Covenant. Jesus was wrong. I'm sorry. Jesus is so far beyond you in wisdom. You just don't get it. And that's fine, because I don't completely get it either. I still have flaws. There's still things that are wrong with me, guys. I still got a lot of things to work on. I'm just doing the best I can out here, guys. Woo, look at all the light coming in. Look at all that light. I'm telling you that if you're leveling up, the signs of you leveling up is you stop with the whole, debate. There's a time and a place to debate, okay? I love Goku from Dragon Ball Z. It's hard for me to make a single video where I don't bring up Goku from Dragon Ball Z because I'm putting all the chips on the table and I'm telling you, that's one of the best Christ figures that's ever been in any TV show, okay? Because he laughs, he's fun-loving, people around him are getting angry because he's just playful and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. And if he ever makes a mistake, it's because every now and then Vegeta needs to remind him, it's like, no, Goku, Frieza will kill your family. He'll kill everyone. Yeah, you set me free. You were right. You were right to forgive me. You were right to forgive Piccolo. You were right to forgive Tien. But listen, Goku, Frieza is not redeemable. Frieza's with the devil. And that's why Goku was right to forgive Vegeta, because he needed Vegeta on his side. Look at all the people that Goku converted to be good. He found people who were destroying planets, and he loved them, and he showed them forgiveness. Goku shows forgiveness. Goku is slow to anger. Goku is strong. Goku's the strongest. He's the strongest, and he's the most gentle, and he's childlike. I've been thinking about this just about my entire life, guys. Goku is a very brilliant example. It's like, but if I turn the other cheek and I love my enemies, then I have to be weak. Look at Goku. You can work out. Work it out is such a positive thing, man. And look, if you're a big, strong, bench 400 pounds, man, I hope you're not picking on people. I hope you're not showing pride. I hope you're not showing wrath and beating up people and putting people in the hospital, because that's just going to end you up in jail, bro. Maybe it's going to take 10 cops to take you down, 10 cops with tasers, but they will take you down, and you will have your day in court, and you will end up in prison. That's all that's going to happen when you beat everybody up. It's beautiful to be really strong. Teach people to work out. When people are in your face and you know that you can humble them, it's like, okay, oh yeah, like people grabbing your, oh boy, he's grabbing my sweater, maybe he's even going to be hitting you. It is like, I mean, Goku's so strong, he doesn't even realize. It's like, oh, like, it seems like you guys dropped your thing and they're punching him, he doesn't even feel it. Like, bro, the more forgiveness that you can show, the more temperament that you can show. Oh, this is shilling. Oh, this is like, no, you're not ready. It's not shilling. This is the truth. Now you gotta, because you're not Goku, and when you're in danger, okay, when the guy starts hitting you, and look, it's not a good idea to let somebody get the first hit. I can tell you that right now. Somebody might just be able to one hit or quit you. So don't take it so far that you lose the fight, okay? But when somebody's just talking shit, and sometimes it's an old man, there's grumpy old man. You ever see a video of some 20-year-old knocking out a 40-year-old man, or not a 20-year-old knocking out a 60-year-old man because he was rude? You don't want to be that, bro. There's nothing to prove there. That's ugly. You want to be the good guy, bro. You want to be Goku. Like in Iron Giant is like, but you're not like that. You're like Superman. You're a good guy, like Superman. Be the good guy. Be the good guy, bros. Do the right thing. You don't want to hate people. You don't like the Nazis. You don't like Hitler. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you don't like Stalin either. You know, some people try to argue that Stalin was like, actually, Stalin's a right-winger. Look, more or less, Stalin's far left and Hitler was far right. Actually, Hitler's a leftist. Actually, Stalin, whatever, dude. Hitler was far right. Stalin was far left. What do they both have in common? Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of innocent people fucking dying, bro. Okay? Let it go. Just let it go. Be positive. If you're negative, you're wrong. If you're hating people, you're wrong. And you've been lied to. Why do you hate people? Because you were lied to. Just let it go. You might need to be alone. You might just need to stop. You might just need to completely stop. One of the hardest things for men today is to quit pornography, and it is wrong. You need to get off of that shit. I haven't yet, okay? I'm trying to figure out how to get off of pornography, and I feel like it's like literally just stop. Just sit still and do nothing and be bored. Maybe reach over to your computer and hit play and just leave YouTube running and lay on your back and just stop. How do I stop hating? How do I quit weed? How do I quit booze? How do I quit sinning? How do I quit pornography? Stop. Stop what? Just stop moving. Stop doing everything. Stop eating. But don't die. Don't, just stop everything. Stop talking to the world when you're full of hate. Stop putting yourself out there when you're full of hate, when you're wrong. Be in your home, be outside, be in nature, be with something like a cat or a dog that gives you unconditional love. Watch something positive, listen to something positive. Just stop and let some time pass, but I want to be ready right now, Reform Stoic. Maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe it's going to take a couple of months, but guess what? Those months will pass. Hey, people told me I wouldn't be able to stop streaming for Lent. Well, guess what? Lent is almost over. Under 2 weeks now. The time passed. Yeah, it was a long time, but it passed. The time will pass, my friends. Just stop. Stop partying. But I need to be out a whole month where I'm not around people, where I don't have a chance to meet women. I can't let my life stop. Just stop for a whole month. Just stop. Leave the world. You're wounded. You're angry. You've been lied to. You're filled with lies. but it's so hard. I thought that I needed to hate these people, and what you're saying is so far away. Then just stop and read the Bible. Listen to the Bible on audiobook. I love the virtual Bible. You can watch like the virtual Gospel of John, the virtual Gospel of Luke. There's one for all of them. They just use the Bible as a script. Chosen Ones ain't the same thing. That show, The Chosen Ones, yeah, they're adding stuff. I don't really recommend. I tried it. Yeah, whatever. I don't hate it, but virtual Bible. Bible on audiobook. Read the Bible. If you're not ready, it's okay. And I'm not saying I'm ready, but I'm ready to make this video. That's why I made it. I apologize. I confessed to a priest that I was a false teacher because I was. I'm not anymore, you guys. This is the real deal. Join me in the light. Some of y'all out there are snakes. I don't know if it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many there are. There's some snakes in those bushes, guys. There's some people around here trying to blend in who ain't the real deal. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But as my message becomes pure, as I leave behind politics, as it's like, okay, enough LARPing, enough pretending that this two-party system is going to change anything, it's time to follow Christ, my friends. I've been pushed all in. I've been under attack by demonic forces, and I can't play games anymore. Some people are you're not gonna follow me. Well, you're not following me, you're following Christ. There's nothing like spiritual. Ooh, I'm in the light. I'm just a regular guy, dude. I need to shave. I look like shit. I'm a regular person. But I'm saying this channel's going in a different direction, and a lot of people ain't coming with me. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Because this is the real deal. I am not a false teacher anymore. I'm a good teacher. And this is what I'm teaching you. Be positive, love people, be wholesome, be good, be pleasant to be around. It will make everything about your life better. It will make everything about life better. But women like guys, you treat them like crap. Not the kind of women that you want, bro. And you don't want women. You want one woman, and you want to be really selective about it, and you might not even want to be with a woman, bro. I mean, you might not want to be with anybody. Like, if you are with somebody, it's going to be with a woman, if you're a man. But just stop worrying about that. Christ told you not to worry about tomorrow. Stop worrying about tomorrow. Put all your faith in Christ. And whatever you do, it's like, oh, man, I got to get a job. Oh, man, I got to move. Oh, dude, I got to finally pay these parking tickets. Okay. Start by learning the correct theology. Start by learning the real message of God. Start with the Gospels, and then finish the New Testament, and then read Proverbs and Psalms, and then make sure you've read the Bible cover to cover. I think that's a pretty good order of operations there. And until you've got all that right, just stop. Just stop, bro. Stop going out in the world and spreading your toxic and your negativity. It is bad to teach people the wrong thing. Bible says it's bad to be a false teacher. So we've gone on pretty long here, my friends. This is my message for you today. God bless you. Until next time.